Paige is a character in Fable 3. She is one of the active followers of the hero of Brightwall. She's the leader of the Bowerstone Resistance, an underground organisation working against King Logan. Paige and the rest of the Resistance live in the privacy of the Bowerstone sewers. Paige puts her resistance duties above all else, having witnessed firsthand the injustice and suffering that Logan has imposed on the common folk. Though Paige is never quick to trust a stranger, she is still compassionate and cares for her people.
Paige grew up very poor in Bowerstone Industrial, back when the smoke from the factories was just starting to blacken the air and the detritus of the trade ships was just starting to pollute the waters. Sometimes she would sit on the edge of the docks and watch as an industry grew in Bowerstone, never dreaming that what she saw was only the start of something bigger, stating that a child dreams of things getting better, not worse.
Her father left her family when she was just 8 years old, and then her mother fell ill when she was barely 11. She ended up working in the factories next to her older brother Cedric, who watched out for her but died a year later due to a machine accident. Her mother then died again shortly after, and with no one left, Paige began to live in the factories, which no one was aware of at first.
She would be found underneath the floorboards or behind steam-powered machines reading by candlelight, which was her only escape from the hell around her. She didn't have whole books though. The only reading material she had was discarded pages she'd find washed up on the docks, which she'd dry out and treasure, thus earning her the nickname Paige from the other factory workers.
Wanting to go where the books lived, Paige sought out an order of monks that were on the outskirts of Bowerstone, being told that they were very learned and very loving of books. The monks accepted her into their order, teaching her how to think and how to fight. Paige described them as devastating, but the gentlest of souls, only fighting to defend themselves or to offer protection for the helpless.
Once Logan's tyranny was in full force, one of the first things to go was the Order of Monks. They refused to leave, however, and one night awoke to find their sanctuary ablaze. Those that escaped the fire ended up being shot by Logan's men. Paige, left as the only survivor, returned to Bowerstone Industrial, determined to not let others suffer under Logan's reign like she had, forming the Resistance, which was dedicated to bringing down Logan.
In Fable 3 events now, so after recruiting a Major Swift and a Swift Brigade, the hero and Walter Beck travel to Bowerstone to recruit Paige and her Bowerstone Resistance. Meeting the group in the sewers of Bowerstone Industrial, Paige ends up reliving the standoff between the hero and her soldiers, who initially thought that the prince or princess was actually a spy. Initially unimpressed and distrustful of the hero, Paige asks them to prove their worth throughout Bowerstone Industrial to better help the people. After the hero finishes a series of quests of their choosing, Paige is readily more impressed and is willing to give the hero a chance. She helps you infiltrate Reaver's mansion in order to save some of her captured rebels, only to be in turn be thrown into Reaver's Wheel of Misfortune, an arena filled with dangerous creatures in which to entertain his guests. Fighting together for 4 harrowing battles, Paige saves the hero of Brightwall's life by shooting a Balverine, which was about to attack them during the 5th and final round. Although unable to kill Reaver, the hero's performance in the arena convinces Paige to join him or her, asking for a promise to improve the lives of Bowerstone citizens. After the hero returns from recruiting more allies in Aurora, Paige formulates the strategy and fights in the battle for Albion, which ends in victory for the Revolution.
During the second part of the game, as Monarch, you meet with Paige a number of times where she will argue for helping the people. This puts her in direct opposition with Reaver Industries and its eponymous founder, who continually suggests a way for the hero to save gold at the expense of the people. In an effort to save up enough gold to successfully fight off the Crawler, the true antagonist of Fable 3, and the reason Logan became a tyrant in the first place, it is up to the hero to choose whether to support Paige, causing you to lose gold from your treasury, or to support Reaver, which will save you gold basically.
The proposals she will ask you to do when you become king or queen are to change the Reaver Industries factories into schools, which loses 200,000 gold but gains good morality points. To rebuild Bowerstone Old Quarter, losing 550,000 gold, Renovate Bowerstone Orphanage, losing 50,000 gold. Find Nigel Ferret. He will try and bribe you with 100,000 gold, which will give you evil morality points, or you can side with Paige and not take the gold. Not drain Bower Lake, which will lose you 50,000 gold. That's a lot of money that she's proposing for us to just lose. So agreeing with Paige on the majority of all of her proposals will make you and her more close. You will also become more virtuous. No matter which path the hero chooses, Paige will also help fight the crime lord Nigel Ferret. Paige is also among the allies in the war room who will fight the darkness and do the ends justify the means, and she is also present at Sir Walter's memorial if the hero of Brighthall has not broken their promises.
Yep. So the next sort of bit of lore is from Fable Blood Ties, so it's not 100% from in-game sources. Shortly after the revolution and the defeat of the Crawler, Paige is tracked down in the industrial district of Bowerstone by Ben Finn. Restless and eager to begin travelling again, Ben asks Paige to join him on a new series of adventures. Unfortunately for the former soldier, Paige sees little appeal in aimlessly wandering Albion and rejects the proposal. Perturbed by Paige's refusal to join him, Ben Finn decides to go adventuring on his own.
Later on in Ben Finn's adventure, once he has discovered that the leader of Reaver's army of half-breeds is actually being led by his missing brother William Finn, Ben and Reaver strike a deal with each other. Reaver will cure William and set him free if Ben agrees to never again help out the citizens of the besieged town of Blackholm and to assassinate Paige. Ben Finn, slightly reluctant, nevertheless agrees.
Setting out for Bowerstone, Ben Finn finds Paige fighting several thugs in the Cock and the Crown pub. Escaping with Paige, Ben Finn successfully convinces her to join him, claiming that they will set out to save the people of Blackholm from the half-breeds and the warlord named Drugan. Paige readily agrees.
The name of that pub, man.
Yeah,
the
amazing. It's amazing.
Like it's actually, just to clarify for, say, West American audiences, it's actually a name for a male chicken. So it's actually like a rooster in the crown.
But obviously a bit of a play on words there.
Yes, so just before you need to get your minds out of the gutter, I just need to clarify that it's not what you think it is. Alright, so travelling to Blackholm, the two make camp and Paige seemingly falls asleep. With Ben struggling with this duty, Paige reveals that she had a pistol trained on Ben the entire time. Though Ben tries to explain his plight, the two are interrupted by an ambush from the half-breeds, who knock Ben unconscious and drag Paige back to Reaver's manor. She is set to be killed by the half-breeds for Reaver's amusement, but is saved by the gnome that has accompanied Ben, who destroyed Reaver's control mechanism that bent the half-breeds to his whim. Reaver nonchalantly shrugs off the debacle, stating that they will succumb to their animalistic natures and wipe out Blackholm. Rushing to the defense of the people of Blackholm, Paige joins Ben in the fight against William, only to be knocked unconscious by the creature's strength. Nevertheless, Ben saves the people of Blackholm, killing his brother and the rest of the half-breeds with a well-placed shot to a grenade.
A week later, Ben finds to his surprise that Paige left Blackholm without him, leaving a note asking Ben to leave her alone. However, Ben's gnome ally reveals that Paige wanted Ben to accompany her back to Bowerstone, but she just didn't know how to ask.
Gnome ally, I need one of those. Now this is from Fable Edge of the World, so a similar sort of canonicity warning. Nearly a decade after the revolution and the successful defeat of the Crawler, Paige still serves her king and ally, the hero of Brighthall. Though the hero is set to marry Layla, a friend of Paige, the ceremony is interrupted by Shan, an envoy from faraway Samarkand that reveals that the darkness has returned there. Perturbed, the hero decides to set out on a military expedition to rid the world of one of its greatest threats, leaving Paige and the soldier Jack Timmins to safeguard his kingdom and protect his new bride. Unfortunately, Layla increasingly falls under the sway and influence of the recently returned Reaver, ordering both of her protectors locked up after receiving forged letters indicating that the duo were planning to take over Albion. Paige later managed to free both herself and Jack Timmins after knocking out Layla, who demanded to know why her closest friend would betray her. Once Reaver usurps Layla, however, she realizes that Paige was right all along, sending out the hero's dog to find Paige with a message stating that she would help Paige when the time came. That's it. So some trivia now.
Yep, so Paige seems to be very proud of her wanted status, going as far as to even frame her wanted picture. This can be seen beside her bed in the sewers map room.
If you look closely at her, one can find that she uses a steel longsword and what is most likely a steel flintlock pistol.
She was accidentally revealed by Louise Murray in an interview, which we have a link for on the page. She stated there is an actress called Naomi Page. However, the developer Gradius1 said the first name is Naomi, but the last name is a character, I guess.
Okay. During the quest The Masquerade, when Paige shoots at Reva, a glitch can occur when it looks like she has no gun and a bullet just appears out of thin air. So they obviously made Cyberpunk 2077, these guys too.
Yeah. Before the Masquerade Ball, Paige approvingly remarks at the hero's attire and notes that it brings out the colour in their eyes. Okay.
A furniture piece of Paige can be found in a chest in the sewers. It is located in a small area through a hole in the wall that you pass when leaving through the back exit of the sewers with Ben Finn to go steal shit to Aurora.
Paige seems to comment on Ben Finn each time he makes a move on her.
She is the only one in Logan's trial who doesn't want him executed, despite her struggle with him, although Walter is neutral on the issue, as he is in all the others.
In some of your court decisions, Paige usually acts as the voice of reason and or kindness, opposing to Reva's cruelty.
It is revealed by Walter that Paige used to work in a factory as a child.
In the Fable 3 Limited Collector's Edition card deck, Paige is seen as the Queen of Diamonds.
She certainly is. Ben Finn states at the end of the game he will see if Paige needs any help down in Industrial. This happens regardless of whether the hero is good or evil.
Paige will only side against you if you choose not to end child labour. Rejecting all of her other proposal has no effect, and she will still appear in the castle right before the crawler attack, as well as at Walter's funeral. So the only major choice you can make with her is ending child labour, whether you end it or not.
In Fable Blood Ties, she reveals that Paige is actually a nickname she was given as a child due to her hobby of collecting discarded pages of literature that she found by the docks. She chooses to keep her true name a secret.
In the novels, Paige claims that animals instinctively dislike her. Despite several instances throughout the novels confirming this, Rex continues to behave quite comfortably around her.
And that's really the trivia. Only thing I really have to say about Paige is that she is a good character. Overall, I think she's a good, like, the revolution and the backstory is pretty well fleshed out for a Fable character. The only thing that's annoying is all the bloody requests that she comes to, asking you for money when you need that money to build up your army to defend against the darkness. It just feels like there's no right answer there.
Yeah, but I feel like, I guess that's just a bit more of a problem with the end game of Fable 3 rather than specifically Paige as a character. I think it's hard not to look at Paige as like almost like a continuation of Whisper's character in the original Fable, but substantially better. Like a substantially more fleshed out and interesting Whisper, I guess.
What you talking about, farm boy?
Yeah, like she doesn't.
I don't think he's that bad. I think she's. I'm not sure.
She's substantially better. Like I don't want to like.
She's like a moral compass, right? Like she's a moral compass,
yeah.
but it's deliberately written in a way that makes you almost want to not side with her at times. Like when she's asking for all this stuff, and you can easily you want to be able to say to her, well, look, obviously there's an enemy coming. Like, can we just deal with the enemy, and then when we've done that, yes, I'll do everything. Yeah. But that's it really. That's all I have to say. Like, she's a good character. I like her backstory and fleshed out nature.
And I'd love to note that because of her name being like a nickname, not her actual name, like Paige being sort of a name that was given to her rather than like her actual birth name, it does very much remind me of the original heroes in Fable. Again, sort of going off of names rather than like their actual name. So like the Guildmaster.
Chicken Chaser,
like Thunder, Chicken Chaser, or the really edgy like Reaper, I think it's called, just straight up like Reaper as one
Paladin.
of the names. You love it.
That was the best.
Paladin's awesome. Yeah. And I guess finally,
does he chase chickens?
Yeah, you love it. You love it. But yeah, Paige is just a cool name because it does remind me of those original heroes. Like she kind of,
agreed.
She's like a pseudo hero, I guess, almost.
Agreed. If the Heroes Guild was still a thing, I'm sure she would have found her way into there.
Yeah, 100%. I guess finally, just before ending off the video, I just really wanted to mention that on the Fable wiki page for Paige, under the relationships section, Ben Finn is listed as friend, so unlucky to Ben Finn.
Friend zone.
But he's been fully friend zoned, and that's canon. So unlucky, my man.
I'd like to just finish off with another just questionable thing. Paige.
Yeah.
We know that Paige's character model is black, right?
Yep.
I just want to say, Paige grew up in a very poor Bowerstone industrial, back when the smoke from the factories was just starting to blacken the air. I just want to say that's not how black people are created. Like, I think that Fable needs to go back and remember that's not how it happens.
Yeah, maybe the Fable creators weren't quite sure what they were doing there. You don't need to explain the skin tone in lore like that. That's kind of just self-explanatory.
Like, they could have just explained that it was back when, you know, the smoke from the factories was just starting to create a smog. You know, like. But why does it have to say
the blackening?
I mean, you know, you can't say that kind of stuff. Like, it would be to be an air of color, if anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, with that's all we've got on Paige. Pretty cool character, Fable 3. And next time we will be back with some more lore. So we will see you then.